Welcome to Successful Teaching for Acceptance of Responsibility. Section 1, A Culture of Self-Responsibility. If we are going to focus on developing self-responsibility in our students, then we must establish a culture of self-responsibility in the classroom. That means we have to set clear expectations of what is expected when students learn and work together. On the STAR strategy side of your laminated card, notice Structure Strategy 1, Clear Expectations. Please locate page 17, A Culture of Self-Responsibility, Structure Strategy 1, Clear Expectations. Take a moment to read the introductory paragraph, highlighting points that you find most relevant. Then, locate the subheading on page 17, Responsible Action Statements, Myself. As I explain each of these responsible action statements myself, use page 17 to make note of supporting information. For this course, we are going to be guided by the responsible action statements you see on page 17 in this poster. Since self-responsible people are adept at taking care of themselves, we are going to use the acronym MYSELF to structure these responsible action statements. In order to establish a culture of self-responsibility, in the classroom you must be able to model the behaviors you are asking your students to demonstrate. Mistakes are permitted here. Mistakes in school are often seen as something negative. Mistakes can affect your grade or result in other negative consequences. However, making mistakes is a powerful way to learn. Students demonstrate self-responsibility when they understand it is acceptable to make mistakes, especially when you are learning. If you are not making mistakes, you probably are not challenging yourself. Mistakes are a way to learn and begin again more intelligently. Your behavior equals a choice. Students choose whether or not to listen. Students choose whether or not to finish their work and turn it in on time. Students choose their mindset and attitude toward learning. Students choose how they interact with other students in the classroom. Students choose whether or not they participate in activities and group work. As students develop self-responsibility, they quit blaming others and hold themselves accountable for their choices. Speak up for yourself. There are no psychics or mind readers in the classroom. If you do not understand something, say so. If you do not know what to do next, ask someone. If you are working in a group and some students are not participating, speak up and communicate what you want them to do. Every problem is an opportunity. Problems give us an opportunity to find a solution. Problems give us information as to what we know and what we don't know. We want students to understand that problems present an opportunity to use a strategy or find a new way of thinking. We want students to see problems as a way to enhance their ability to think creatively. Level of risk is your choice. Risk involves taking action, even though you might fail. It involves moving ahead, even though you might feel a certain or fearful way. Students must learn to determine whether the risk is worthwhile. We may not want to take a risk if it is dangerous. However, we do want students to be comfortable taking academic risks to maximize their performance and learning. Every student has a level of risk they are comfortable taking, so honor the risks they are willing to take and let students take a pass if they are uncomfortable with a certain level of risk. Use a stretch risk challenge sheet to encourage students to take a risk and challenge themselves. Finding solutions is the focus. We want students to be solution-oriented, not blame-oriented. We want to solve problems, not find fault or punish. Fault is an F word in this classroom. We want to focus on the R word, responsibility. Blame fixes nothing, but solutions do. What insights emerged as we discussed these responsible action statements? Do you really like the way these statements set the expectation for self-responsibility? Do these statements represent behaviors that you have always wanted your students to demonstrate? Do you like that the acronym is MYSELF? Does it drive home the concept of self-responsibility? Now that you have been introduced to responsible action statements, I want you to think about these statements in a more personal way. Please locate page 18, Insight and Inspiration. Then go to Canvas, Modules, Section 1, Insight and Inspiration Discussion Area. Identify which one of these responsible action statements would have helped you be more successful when you were growing up. Find a quote that correlates to the responsible action statement you chose that would have inspired you. Using the next available slide on the editable Google slideshow, write the letter of your chosen responsible action statement and your quote. Optionally, review a classmate's slide and post a meaningful comment. Please remember, quotes are a good way to inspire responsibility. Sometimes students pay more attention to statements of others than those of their parents and teachers. Please locate page 19, Cornerstone Statements for the Classroom. The responsible action statements, MYSELF, deal specifically with responsibility. However, the cornerstone statements you use in the classroom may need to be broader in order to establish ways in which students are to learn and work together. When you think about the students in your classroom, what expectations do you want to establish for behavior, learning, interpersonal interactions, and responsibility? Keep in mind that you could have separate expectations for each of these categories that combine to become the general cornerstone statements for the classroom. Please go to Canvas, Modules, Section 1, Cornerstone Statements for the Classroom discussion area. Choose a theme for your cornerstone statements that relates to a motivational word, a school mascot, or your content area. Brainstorm a list of potential cornerstone statements that establish expectations for behavior, learning, interpersonal interactions, and/or responsibility. Choose 5 to 7 statements that communicate your expectations in short, clear, and positive terms. Using the Google Slides template, design and illustrate a cornerstone statements poster for the students in your classroom. Post your cornerstone statement to the discussion area. Optionally, review a grade level classmate's cornerstone statement and provide a meaningful comment. Please remember, if we want our students to learn self-responsibility, we must set expectations for how we expect students to learn and work together. Establishing these guidelines up front allows you to utilize teacher talk, such as red light, green light, to spotlight behaviors that are not in line with your cornerstone statements. Please take a moment to review the quote on the bottom of page 19. People can't live up to the expectations they don't know have been set for them. Students have a tendency to meet expectations that are set for them. Setting expectations is an important aspect of teaching self-responsibility. Let's conduct another starburst. A starburst is a fireworks celebration. Clap your hands at your waist to make a noise and wiggle your hands up in the air like a firework shooting upward. Clap your hands at the top and then arch your arms downward like a firework exploding while saying "Ah" in awe and wonder. This concludes Section 1, A Culture of Self-Responsibility. We will continue to Module Section 1, Self-Responsibility, Closing.